It's time now for the news review of this bulletin. In France, oil refinery workers have voted to continue their strike, despite a government order for some of them to go back to work amid a fuel shortage. The General Confederation of Labour, or CGT union, representing the strikers, says that it will challenge the government to order in the court. The industrial action over pay dispute, now in its third week, has taken 60% of French refining capacity offline. The walkouts have paralyzed 6 out of 7 fuel refineries, leading to fuel shortages at gas stations nationwide. The government has rolled out a requisition of essential workers, calling them back to work in a bid to get fuel supplies flowing again. The strikes worsen the energy crisis and inflation. France is already grappling with the impact of the Ukraine war. Let's bring in Karel Vereycken, a contributor at the Schiller Institute, joins us from Paris. We also have Mahmoud Rafat, president of the European Institute for International Law, who joins us from Stockholm. Welcome to you both. Karel, I'm going to first start with you there over in Paris. So tell us what's going on. How bad is this strike? How badly is it affecting Parisian lives and French lives, for that matter?
Well, so far it is astonishing, or rather not astonishingly, it is quite supported by the population. Well, indeed, yes, 30% of all gas stations, they are lacking one product or another. So people are it's becoming chaotic. But people feel that the fight against inflation, and that if these people are on strike, they have a legitimate demand to increase their wages. And if they fight, it's a good example for the others who will probably join this fight.
You have, Mahmoud Rafat, warning signs that are coming from a number of European countries, how they are now susceptible to social crises, to social unrest, to protests because of the cost of living crisis, which is not subject just to maybe people associating it just with the UK. It's now a European-wide problem, if not really something that the whole world is grappling with in a sense, but Europe in particular. So why not have a change of strategy when it comes what appears to be the roots of it, which is in the Ukraine conflict?
Well, first of all, let me highlight very important information. France, we call it the country of strikes. This strike is not something abnormal in France. Sometimes in France, the whole life get paralyzed for 1, 2, 3, and sometimes more than 4 weeks. The entire life is paralyzed by strikes. This is not something abnormal at all. France is number one worldwide in strikes. This is number one. And this is because of the strength of the federations, especially the worker federations, and because of their hard situation when it comes to the rights of their workers, or when they estimate their workers have been, the rights of their workers have been attacked somehow. This information, we need to take care of that, because that to lead us what's running in France, which I want to say, what's running in France is a French specificity. It will not get extended to the rest of Europe on this level. Maybe we will see some symptoms of manifestations, of objections, of protesting against the huge change in the social life that Europe has been witnessing since last summer because of the Russian-Ukrainian war, which started last winter. But I don't expect at all on any level we will witness this level. I mean the French level, which is very high level comparing to the whole world. All the rest of the world, we never witnessed such level of strikes, of manifestations, of confrontation to the administration.
So let me get this straight. You're saying that the strikes in France are a bit hyped up because France is a country that has more of a tendency to strike. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, exactly. And the point is, at this point today, we have a president not coming from political background like the former presidents, for example, Chirac, Sarkozy, Mitterrand, etc. But he's coming from investment banking background, which is making him very hard in front of the
Okay.
men's.
Let's see what our guest there in Paris thinks. Karel, what do you think?
Well, it's true that there is a tradition since La Commune and the French Revolution that the French people have a sense of dignity. The problem here is that, contrary to in Germany, the discussions between the labor unions and the employers is the whole year. In France, to have a discussion, people have already to go on strike, to have an appointment with their boss to discuss about wages. So there is no real tradition of dialogue, and it is actually by going into the streets. The second point is that Total, which is the main operator in this case, they made huge profits. They don't pay taxes in France. They pay 25 billion of taxes, but not a penny in France. And they paid a huge amount of dividends to the shareholders. So people feel, because the oil workers, they're not the worst off. Their salary, it's between 2 and 3 and 4,000 euros. It's not the most poor people, but they are in a good fighting mood, and they know they have to take leadership. And it's most French people want a tax on the super profits of the super rich to pay. People don't want to pay for the embargo. They don't want to pay for the war. They don't feel that this is their war or their fault. So they say we should not pay, and the people who put us in this mess, they have to pay, not us.
Well, Russia started it in many people's eyes, but many people also forget, Mahmoud Rafat, that Russia was being provoked for so many years, really. And then you have the war that many people are also not aware, that started from 2014 all the way through now, which is still continuing in a sense. But what's more amazing is the fact that, why should I even say it? You had the French economy minister, Bruno Le Maire, who said that, wait a minute, you have the United States that's making out 4 or 5 times in profits by selling Europe gas. So why is the U.S. doing that? Doesn't that pose a question mark for you as to the person who's leading now, in a sense, this energy crisis? Maybe there were some ulterior motives, perhaps, behind U.S. in terms of continuing this war in one sense?
Well, let's be clear. This war, the Russian-Ukrainian war, since the beginning, it's a war between the United States and Russia, while Europe is involved or has been engaged in this war. We remember at the beginning of the war, President Macron had some statements, very clear statements, that we do not want to put our hands in this war, and then he changed. Also, lots of German responsibles launched such statements. This is on the political and official level, but all the official levels has been changed now by push on them and pressures on them from the American administration. And this is very understood because the American-European alliance is very, very deep and very strategic.
Okay.
So the political shape in Europe is somehow must follow the American continuity or walking. This is very understood. But also we touch socially in Europe, European normal people, normal worker of this refinery person or farmer or worker in factory, he's feeling this war is not my own problem. My own problem is my personal life. My daily life is my children in the school, my healthcare system, not the Zelensky, President Zelensky ambition to join the NATO or to do whatever. This is not my problem. That's why we witnessed already some manifestations in Republic of Czech a few weeks ago.
Indeed.
We have been witnessing Germany as well. But French, let me repeat it, French have their own specificity when it comes to the confrontation of the administration. And what's aggravating the problem and deepening the problem today and this kind of manifestations is the personality of President Macron, who's coming from background of investment banking, who is not politically trained.
Very well. Sorry to jump in. We're just fresh out of time here, Mahmoud Rafat. I appreciate it. President of the European Institute for International Law. Karel Vereycken, contributor at the Schiller Institute. Thank you very much from Paris. And with that, we come to an end for this news review.